Welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into Mikel Arteta's press conference. He was speaking about a couple of players, some players arriving late, some players coming back to fitness of recent, and a very big bad story around Emile Smith Rowe. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well, as we get to know the latest around Arsenal, the latest around the team news, who is fit, who is not fit for tomorrow in that North London derby. Now, first and foremost, Mikel Arteta was asked about the team news, who is available, who is not good, and what is the general shape of the squad. And he said, look, currently we've just finished our last training session. Obviously, we had many players arriving yesterday, so we had a short period to prepare for the match, but the boys are looking in a very, very good condition. Now, that is a positive, given the fact that at the beginning of this week, most of the stories, moving around Arsenal were Zinchenko is not going to play, Odegaard is not going to play, Partey is not going to play, Tierney called back early, Tomiyasu also called back early. It was kind of a havoc, and I think many Arsenal fans were really, really scared. We were really panicking. I think Mikel Arteta coming out and saying the squad is in a good shape, it is very, very refreshing to the Arsenal fans. So I think that's a positive there. The squad is in a good condition. Let's wait and see until tomorrow whether we'll have any late injuries, players who will fail to pass those late fitness tests. But at the moment, the squad is in a very, very good condition. On the confidence in the squad, it says the mentality doesn't change. We have to go game by game. We need to look to get better and improve in many areas and be humble as well. But at the same time, we need to be really ambitious. That's the way forward for us to achieve what we want. Now, he always talks about being patient. He always talks about taking game by game. I think that's the most important aspect for this young Arsenal squad this campaign. You have so many games in October. Actually, I calculated. I'm a very good mathematician. Most of you know this by now. I calculated, and it's going to be 3 days and a few hours, right? Per game. So it means Arsenal will be resting for only 2 games and a few hours before we go into the next game consistently for October. 9 fixtures. So if you want to, if you really want to, motivate this group of players, they're young, they're still ambitious, but of course, they can go over the line. All you have to do is take them game by game. If you can beat Spurs, then prepare for Liverpool, then prepare for Odegaard, home and away. For me, the first 4 fixtures of this month really matter a lot. If you can beat Spurs, probably beat Liverpool because they are coming at the Emirates Stadium, and then beat Odegaard home and away. Odegaard home and away means Arsenal qualify for the round of 32. In the Europa League, and then beating Liverpool home and away means all our big fixtures this campaign have been put out of it. I won't care if we lose against PSV or draw against PSV. I don't think we should win every game in October, in my opinion. PSV is one game I will not care about if we do not win, because we will have already qualified. Moving on being asked on how impressed he has been with the Tottenham start this campaign. He says not only the start, but the journey they have been on since Antonio Conte joined, and how things have changed, and how the team that is building, the way they have a very, very clear identity in the way they're playing has been really, really impressive. We know that both teams expect a really tough match tomorrow. Yeah, look, personally for me, if you ask me about Tottenham Hotspur right now, I've already done a video about them, how to beat them, and I've given them a lot of credit this campaign. I think they lack that quality in the first 11, in their starting 11. They lack that real quality. If they had a number 10, like probably sign Tielemans, sign James Maddison, have that creative spark in midfield. If they had someone younger than Ivan Perisic at left fullback, if they had someone very good at right fullback, better than Emerson, they have a few departments to correct here and there, but they look good. They don't really frighten me, but I don't take them lightly, right? I really don't take them lightly. If you remember my prediction, 3-1, it means they will score a goal. So I've given them a lot of credit as well. On whether last season's away game acts as an extra motivation for us, it says it's just I just think it's all about emotion and the willingness to get that moment and have enjoyment. It's the nicest game of the season by a mile. For what it means to our supporters, for the history of it, and now as well, because we are looking at the table where both teams want to be, it becomes really, really important a match. I think the word is excitement. I don't know whether the right word for the North London derby is excitement, but the rivalry is on another planet. The rivalry is on another level. I mean, people talk about the Manchester derby. I don't feel like that the Manchester derby is that big. I don't feel like it has that real quality. When Manchester United were on top of their game, City was shit. When City have been on top of their game for the last 8 years, Manchester United have been absolute shit, really. I think this is why Arsenal Spurs is still the biggest rivalry in the Premier League. Because whenever we are playing Spurs, we are almost at the same level, right? This season, we are competing for the title. We're competing for the number one spot. In the previous years, it was always about who gets into the top 4. Is it Spurs? Is it Arsenal? So you can see why, for me, there is more excitement. There is more to be rivals about than the Manchester derby. And then probably the Merseyside derby is one to think about. But again, there is no real quality from Everton in the past 10, 20 years. In that Merseyside derby as well. Mikel Arteta, on whether he has told the players about what to expect, he said they know what to expect. Look, if you don't know what the North London derby is all about, I think it's going to be the most polished game in the Premier League this weekend, and it should, because tickets were sold out for this particular one. Tickets were sold out. More than 72 hours before the game. So right now, you can't get a ticket. Yesterday, rumors are, that is Wednesday, rumors are that you couldn't get a ticket. And tickets were now, you could get a ticket on Tuesday for around £170. Can you imagine? Right. So, I mean, that is what this game really, really means. On whether he has told the players what to expect, that we've talked about that. On whether Alexander Zinchenko, Partey, and Tierney are in the squad, this is what he said. They are part of the team. Now, I mean, you could give a sneering, reaction to that one. They're part of the team. I think this is Mikel Arteta trying to keep his cards close to his chest, not trying to say, oh, Partey is not in, or Partey's back. But then he just confirms the boys are part of the team. They will be traveling. They will be on the bus as we take on Spurs tomorrow. Okay, on Kieran Tierney being pulled out of the internationals, he said, I think what we all want is what is best for the player. We need to protect the welfare of the player for sure, and he has got the right mindset. He is the player. Is the player ready physically to play for the country and the club? The best way to do it is to have clear communication and be honest and transparent. And with Scotland, that's the case for sure. So there was an incident of a head injury with Kieran Tierney, and that is why Arsenal decided to call him early. Now, I think this was very, very precautionary. Arsenal thought every player that picks up a knock should come back at the Emirates Stadium as early and quickly as possible, be examined, and make sure that there is no further damage done. Brilliant piece of brilliant piece of work by the club there. On whether it's a risk to play the players at the start of a busy period, on whether it's a risk to play the players at the start of a busy period, says we have to go game by game, and then form and performances, plus how the players are mentally and physically. That will dictate how we use them, but for sure we're going to need everyone. The schedule is hectic and very, very demanding, and we need to think carefully about how we use and load the players. This is where squad depth is knocking on the door. We talked about it in the summer, and everybody said, Kosi, appreciate what you have. Kosi, appreciate Arsenal. They've really, really done very well. But my point was, the fixtures were released before the transfer summer ended, before the transfer window closed. And this is what we have to deal with. You need to have at least 3 players per position this campaign. Whether you're competing for the title or you're not. But Mikel says they will see how every player fares physically and mentally. They'll try to rotate. I reckon there's going to be a lot of squad rotation. So the likes of Marquinhos are going to have more... Marquinhos, okay. They're going to have a lot of game time. For me, the likes of Reece Nelson have a lot of game time, especially in the Europa League. I mean, if there was a way to just reduce on the number of fixtures, it would have been better, but there is no way, right? There is absolutely no way. On what he said to Gabriel Jesus about missing the selection for Brazil, he said, first of all, we need to understand how they are feeling, how they have taken the news, and how it's hit them, and how we can use it to help them to their benefit. Just put your head down. Take it on the chin, and then the only thing they can do is try to play at the level he has been playing at, or even better if he can, to make it more difficult for the national team. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing that Tite decides to drop the best player for Brazil right now. Okay, that is I made that up, right? Didn't I? But I think Gabriel Jesus is one of the best forwards for Brazil. Vinicius Junior for me is the best forward by a mile. Richarlison is not that bad. I think people are really giving him a lot of stick, but I don't think Richarlison is that bad. I'm not trying to flirt with Spurs players. I'm only saying this from a Brazilian, perspective. If I were Brazilian, Richarlison is not that bad of a player. But Gabriel Jesus, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 goal involvements, dropped. Wow. But there is also a school of thought that I really subscribe to, that managers of these national teams were actually trying to try out a few other players, leaving out those players that are sure card on to be on the plane. Because for me, Gabriel Jesus is a sure card to be on the plane. He's a sure card, honestly. So if he didn't call him to try out Richarlison and the other players, well enough. If he did call him because he transferred to Arsenal and the system and things like that, I won't get it. I won't get it, Tite. I really, really won't get it. On what makes this derby so special, this is what he said. Many things. I think you have to feel attached and you have to feel attached and a belonging to the club when you have that feeling, and when you understand the history of the derbies, how both teams were historically created and what has happened over the years, then that makes it very, very special. I think it's a very special city. It's a really, really special country, very passionate fans, and it's a great atmosphere to play football in. What makes this derby special for me is the fans. What makes this derby special is the bottle jobs Spurs have done over the years. What makes this derby special is no club feels they're greater than, they're smaller than the other. Spurs will not concede that Arsenal are bigger, although we have 3 Premier League titles and 13, league titles. Overall, we have more FA Cups than Spurs and any other team in the UK. That is 13. Sorry, is it 14? 14, not 13. Literally, they just won't accept. They just won't accept. And because there is that feeling of Spurs are bigger than Arsenal, Arsenal are bigger than Spurs. It's in the fans, it's in the teams. The rivalry has come a long way. And I think since 1992, when the Premier League became the Premier League, it's one of those derbies that really make a lot of sense. They just make a lot of sense. And because they have withstood the test of time, it's definitely a quality derby. On what will be doing the team talk, on who will be doing the team talk this time. It says it depends on the moment, but obviously we have so many people here that have been here much longer than us. Their feelings towards the club are even deeper than ours. I felt it in that moment. It was the right thing to do. For someone that is with us every day, that knows the players and knows what it means to express how he was feeling about it. Interesting. Now, okay, this comment comes off the back of the reasoning that our cameraman gave a team talk to the players, in the dressing room. So I think Mikel just tries to do it randomly pick some guy who is an Arsenal fanatic, understands the club, has been here to talk to the players, especially because we have this bunch of young players. They don't understand really the culture of the club, and it's not their fault. It is a multicultural group. Xhaka from Switzerland and Germany, Odegaard from Norway and Spain, Alexander Zinchenko from Manchester City and Ukraine. So you see, to get that culture, to get that unity, it takes some time. So that's why I really, really back Mikel Arteta. On the bad news, on whether Emile Smith Rowe will be back after the World Cup, it says hopefully yes. We had to make a decision because we could not continue the uncertainty as to whether we have or have him with certain conditions. We needed to draw a line, so we made that decision, and he was the first one demanding that he wanted to make the decision, and we supported that, and we have to prepare him to get back stronger than usual. Now, bad news: Emile Smith Rowe did have a surgery. It's gonna keep him out until December. Bad news. Now, I think the decision by Arsenal, the family, and the player to take surgery is excellent. Absolutely excellent. Because you just cannot be that inconsistent. With this Arsenal team, developing, you want to either develop as part of the batch or you're going to be left behind. And I think one of the most hurting transfer prospects is when Emile Smith Rowe leaves Arsenal. It will hurt deeper. I think Emile Smith Rowe leaving Arsenal will hurt more than Saka leaving Arsenal. I just feel Emile Smith Rowe is kind of a bowler. I just love him. I just love his playing style and his personality and his zeal as a player. Obviously, I love Saka as well. So, according to Mikel Arteta, the surgery was a unanimous decision on the player side and also on the club side as well. On how long Emile Smith Rowe is gonna be out, he said after surgery, it's gonna be very difficult to give a timeline. It depends on the first process, how the bones heal, how his reaction is gonna be, his improvement, and how he's adapting. We need to go step by step. Obviously, we know that before the World Cup will not be easy, and after that we have a break, and we need to use him in the right way. I mean, it's so unfortunate for Emile Smith Rowe. Last campaign was his breakaway campaign, getting the shot number 10 and doing things for a shot number 10, double figures. Recording double figures. You thought this campaign he was going to compete with the likes of Fabio Vieira, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Martinelli, Saka, because he's got the quality. I mean, I don't fear for him because he's got the quality, but I just feel sad for him. This season is kind of a reward for Arsenal players, kind of a reward for being patient, being resilient, being, believing and trusting. And Emile Smith Rowe is not there to see the rewards. For me, it will hurt more if Arsenal win anything big this campaign and Smith is not part of it. It will really hurt him a lot. On how we convinced Gabriel Jesus to sign for Arsenal. Who is asking these questions right about now? It is 2 months in the Premier League season, and someone is still asking these questions. We've already answered these ones, right? I'm not reacting to that really. On whether he was concerned. On whether he was convinced he could sign him. Now, again, for me, transfer, past transfers and how they happened, not really a thing for me. On Antonio Conte, saying Arsenal are the better side than last season. Says, first of all, I thank him. He thanks Antonio Conte and says, hopefully we are. But the next few months will unveil that. We want to get better than we are today as well. I mean, I think Antonio Conte is not flirting around. I hope he's not flirting around with us, no? Because we are absolute fire. You flirt around with us, we ban you. I'm going to say we are massively better. We are so much better than we were last campaign. We are a stronger side. We are more organized side, more talents, better organization, better knowledge from the manager. I think we're still naive in some situations. There is still a mistake in a few players per 90 as well, but that can be rectified anytime soon. On having any hesitation about playing William Saliba against Kane and Son, who asks these questions really? Says Mikel says William has shown over the past few months what he's capable of, and that doesn't mean that things are always gonna go in the same direction. But he's been so good that from my side, I have no doubt. Now, Saliba is playing for France as a starter and is playing against the best strikers in the world in Europe. Why would we be afraid of playing him against Son and Kane? And then who do we play there? Rob Holding? I mean, it's with English journalists, and I think it's a general problem with the English media and pundits. They love tilting the narrative in favor of English players. So literally, this is. What are you considering Ben White to play over William Saliba at centre back, and then probably Tomiyasu can come back at right back? And Mikel says no, he's totally convinced about the man William Saliba. On Gabriel Jesus being one booking away from suspension, he said it's a thin balance and aggression is in his nature. He gets a lot of contact and puts his body on the line in every position, but we have been unlucky in the amount of bookings that he has. Some of them we cannot prevent because they're a bit disciplinary, but we need to avoid a suspension for really, really sure. Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan, one of the things you're going to be watching out for, is he getting a red card? Is he getting another yellow card? Has he got another yellow card? If Arsenal win the game or if Arsenal lose the game early, we will all be going, why doesn't he put Gabriel Jesus off? Why doesn't he call Gabriel Jesus off, this minute? And, I mean, I don't think he's an ill-disciplined guy. I think, like Mikhail said, he's aggressive. He's always going to have contact with centre backs, with the defensive midfielders. He's gonna clip their heels. He's gonna push them. He's going to give them a notch in the back. And at times you'll get that yellow card. For me, I got no problems. The guy is scoring goals, so I don't have any problems with him. On whether the squad have learned from last season, and he says yes, and also on whether the rearrangement last season hindered Arsenal. Says, I have no idea. If you want to play in the Champions League, you have to get the moment where the pressure is on and the circumstances and overcome that situation. On whether he wants to see more, on what he wants to see from the officials. It says, let him do his job. That's it. I mean, don't ruin the derby. It's derby weekend. It's not only derby day. It's derby weekend. Okay, a derby on Saturday, a derby on Sunday, and a derby on Monday as well. Leicester, Nottingham Forest. What kind of derby is that? So don't train it. Don't train the derby weekend. Football is just coming back. We are all mentally stressed. Personally, I have to create a lot of content during that period of time. It really means that I'll have a lot of content to create. So I'm okay with that. But I don't want to be shouting on my camera and my microphone at the start of a very hectic month. So I want to do reactions like we played well, we won the game. Let's wait for Liverpool. That should be. I don't want to struggle with referees, honestly. On how important decision making will be in the penalty area in the box, it says we will be looking at all those things, and we have to focus on what we can do on the pitch and let the referee run the game. And lastly, on whether the surgery for Emile Smith Rowe was the initial plan, it says we put all the alternatives on the table, and the thing is we have tried some others during the last few months, and they haven't really worked out to the point that the player wasn't comfortable and consistently at his best to perform. We decided to take that route, and it was the best decision, and we will stick to it and actually move on. Now, that was a long one, wasn't it? But what I want to say about Emile is, emotionally, he should be a strong guy. I mean, it's a different story when your team is not performing well and you're not there to help. And a very different story looking at the evolution of your team. If a team that you're part of, picking up wins, being praised all over the world, and your name is not mentioned, and you have that Jazzy 10, and you've been the core, you've been the key to this team. It hurts. It really. So for me, it's the mental part. It's the emotional part. Can he withstand that pressure? Can he withstand the emotions, the thoughts of that should have been me, right? They have scored. That should have been me. If he can do that, I think he will get back stronger and much better as well. My name is Kosi. The like button for me. Subscribe. Why not? See you tomorrow. No combined 11 for Tottenham Arsenal today, but hopefully we can have one tomorrow early before we get into the game. I'll try. I'll definitely try my best. See you soon.